Okay, in the deal zone. So I ask you, Stephen A., what's your reaction to the fact that there could be a trade? You know, a lot of people thought it was just maybe speculating. And also, who would come out on the winning end here?
Let me say this. I've been on the record saying this, and I'll say it again. First thing first, last night I received a text message from somebody, a Big Perk, and they told me to get over my feelings about Daryl Morey. If he were to trade Ben Simmons to Brooklyn, it would be the stupidest thing that he could do. The text message that I got in return was, get over it. It's happening.
Oh.
That's what I was told. I don't believe that to be definitively the case. It could happen. It couldn't happen. I don't know. Here's my thing. Ben Simmons shouldn't be in Brooklyn because he's within the division, and if you got Kyrie and KD, they could win it all, and they could, at the very least, serve as a perpetual roadblock to the Philadelphia 76ers for years to come. That's my belief, which you and I have talked about yesterday and we're about to get into now. My thing is this, though. If you're the Philadelphia 76ers, as turned off as I would be from what I perceive to be just stupidity on a part of the Sixers if they were to do that, I will say this. If you're going to do it, because of what we've seen from Harden this year, bigger, slower, older, primarily because of his hamstring injury, I think that's a strong case, Big Perk, for the Sixers to hold out from giving Ben Simmons to Brooklyn with the other pieces. You should be able to give Ben Simmons and maybe one piece to Brooklyn for James Harden. But Brooklyn, to me, is in no position to make exorbitant demands about this James Harden, because this James Harden, even though I have every confidence he could ultimately be what he was in Houston, is not that guy right now. And I wouldn't give up the farm to get him if I were Philly, Big Perk.
Well, Stephen A., hold on. First of all, you know James Harden tricked us one time. He fooled us when he was in Houston. We thought he was fat and out of shape. And as soon as he landed in Brooklyn, he was a different James Harden, okay?
True.
That's right.
That's the first thing.
True.
Now
Good
you know I got to get you, okay?
Sure.
Because you was just on record about a week or a week and a half ago saying that Philly should be ashamed of themselves for not making a move and wasting Embiid's talent
Correct.
and what he's doing right now. So, with that being said, why not go get James Harden? Why not go get a guy that is capable of playing at an MVP type level? You're not going to find nothing else that better than a James Harden right now. So if I'm Philly, I'm going to pursue him. And if I'm James Harden, I want to get there. See, here's the problem that's going on in Brooklyn right now, right? One, nobody can control Kyrie Irving, okay? No one, period, point blank. They don't know what he's going to do. You know this, I know this, KD knows this, Steve Nash knows this, James knows this. This is why he's frustrated. Okay, so we have to look at the situation. James went there to win a championship. James is the only guy out of those three guys that don't have a ring. So he's starving for a championship. So if I'm James, let me go somewhere else where I could team up with another superstar that's also starving for a championship because he has the same agenda, same goal, same thirst, same type of thrive and drive as me, instead of sitting back having to deal with a Kyrie Irving who want to be part-time or we don't know what he want to do, and a KD that's scared to tell him something about it.
Well, listen, first of all, a couple of things. Number one, I don't disagree with any of your points. Don't mind you getting at me at all, because you are absolutely right. That's exactly, literally to the letter, the position that I took last week, and I still maintain that, because what we didn't do is elaborate extensively as to where I would want him to go. I don't care where he goes. My issue with Philly, if the same Brooklyn Nets team was in the Western Conference, I would feel this way. If the same Brooklyn Nets, it's the fact that they're not only in the East, they're within their division. They are a direct impediment to the success of the Philadelphia 76ers, because I think the two places Ben Simmons is ideally made for would be a Golden State, where he ain't going, or a Brooklyn. I think with Kyrie and KD, if they're both on the court healthy together, I think Ben Simmons is the perfect complementary piece, because he's a guy that would have the ball in his hands with playmaking responsibilities, but you don't have to worry about him taking any shots away from KD and Kyrie, which is what Kyrie especially would love. And that's my issue. And so with Philly, I'm saying I understand your point about, okay, they got to go get something for Joel Embiid because that was my position, and it still is. It's just that, damn, you're buffering Brooklyn. And I don't know how much you're buffering yourself because I don't know about the health of James Harden right now.
Oh, Stephen A., let me ask you this.
Yes.
Okay, you watch and you saw Brooklyn role players, right? Outside of Patty Mills, you see the rest of the crew.
Yeah.
And right now, the way that things are about to turn out, Kyrie Irving is not going to be available for home games.
Right.
Do you honestly could sit up here and tell me that you could trust a Kevin Durant and a Ben Simmons, just if they was facing the Miami Heat or the Milwaukee Bucks?
They need more than that,
To win a playoff game at home against them. No. So my point is that no one is afraid of Ben Simmons. There are more than them and Doc and them saying, we'll give you Ben Simmons because we done saw it firsthand. We saw it up close in person. How in the big moments he folded like clean sheets. So at the end of the day, they're not afraid of him.
How do you know this, Big Perk? How do you know that Ben Simmons hasn't followed your advice about Russell Westbrook? How do you know that Ben Simmons hasn't gone and sought some help psychologically to get off his petrified doldrums that's plaguing him last year?
Has he found the jump shot? Has he found the jump shot?
No. But he was scared. I mean, he was scared to shoot a layup. That's how bad he was. I was at the game. The man passed up layups for crying out loud. He was so damn scared.
So being in a scenario where he doesn't have to shoot would be an ideal situation.
How do we know? We don't know. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.